Hello, 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 and welcome to the Women of Wealth show. I'm back here with Yvette. I'm not sure if you guys remember that, but actually, I'm going to allow her to reintroduce herself. We're going to go back and she's going to tell a little bit about herself before we actually start part two. So, Yvette, let me know when you're ready. You ready?
Girl, I think I am. I think I got my camera
You
going.
got your camera going because everybody can see you live.
Okay. Hello,
Okay.
everyone. Hello, hello.
Could you step in? I need you to talk into your mic for me.
Okay.
So
Hello,
right
everyone.
now, I know the last time you were here, you was telling us about what happened in Mississippi. So right now we left off on when your boyfriend of 19 years, he shot you and then you came back to Chicago. So can you go over when he shot you in the car and where your son ran, and then we're gonna take it to Chicago after that.
No problem. Getting to the ending part of part one
Okay.
is when the relationship of 19 years was ending. When the incident happened, me being shot, him running to Chicago, and U.S. Marshals finding him and bringing him back to Mississippi. He was charged.
Okay.
Long story short, he was charged and he did time in prison.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes, ma'am.
Some of the viewers now was not on our last show. Can
Mhm.
you actually go back? I know you were at a party. Could you go back and describe before you got shot? Like, where were you? How did they get you there? And how did you get shot that day? And then we're gonna take it to Chicago.
Okay. How the incident went, I was at a party with some friends and I received a phone call stating that my son needs to go to the emergency room because he had fell and bust his head. Bust his chin.
Okay.
And I asked him, okay, why can't his father take him? He's on his father insurance.
Okay.
This person replied, well, his dad is at work and someone has to take him to the hospital. I left the party with a friend because I was not in my vehicle.
Okay.
I rode to the party, car hop with a whole lot of us went to the party in one vehicle. So I asked this person to take me over there to check on my son. Okay, I get there. We pull up. I see his father's car. Immediately, I'm getting alarmed. Okay, why is his car here? I was told he was at work. I called inside the residence, and this certain person told me, well, he's still at work. I borrowed his car. I'm like, okay, cool. Get out of the car, and I go in the house, and my son is sitting on the couch holding his chin with a towel. And that was true. Yes, he did. He was jumping in the bed some kind of way. He fell and busted his chin. I grabbed my son and I proceeded to walk out the door. I think I took like one or two steps down and I heard someone say, oh, you really came over here? You really came over here? And I'm like, oh my God, I thought he was at work.
Mhm.
So I grabbed my son and we walked down the stairs really fast and I just heard gunfire. I turned around to see where it came from and it was him holding two guns and he was shooting. So my son took off running to the left. And of course, I ran
He
straight
shot
to.
at you with his son.
He shot at me with me holding my son's hand.
Is that his son as
It
well?
is his son as well.
Okay.
And I ran straight towards the vehicle because the vehicle was parked right directly in front of the house. My son ran to the left, which I had no idea where he took off running. And I ran to the vehicle. The person I was in the car with jumped out of the vehicle, like, hurry up, get in the car, get in the car. He still proceeded to shoot at the vehicle. I jumped in the car. But this time I'm like maybe 104 or 5 pounds. I'm very tiny. I folded up in the bottom of the car. As I hear the gunfire, I see him chasing this person I was with around the car, shooting at him, trying to shoot him.
Okay.
Finally, he ran out of bullets, and this person that drove me there jumped in the car. And I'm telling him, start the car, let's go, let's go. He started the car, he drove away. Gunfire is coming from the back of the car to the front. I'm still, we still trying to get away, or whatever. And I feel myself, burning on the left side. I didn't, think anything of it at the time.
Okay.
And the bullets were started flying towards, through the back of the car, coming through the front of the car. And I get up and I actually look back as, he has the two guns. He's just, I don't know if he thought he was in a Western movie or what, but,
Right.
He was just shooting. So we can hear the police coming. We can hear ambulance coming. We made it left to go on a busy street. We parked in the gas station. By that time, my hip was burning real bad, and I could see that I was hit. And we flagged down the police vehicle and the ambulance, and we told them where the house was. I told the police my son is missing. My son took off running. I have no idea where he is. I called his grandmother. She said he's in the house. He's running. I'm saying, okay, can y'all please find my son? Because he still had a busted chin.
Okay.
So the one of the police officers stayed to talk to me with the ambulance, and it was like three other cars went to the house to see where he was, and we went to the hospital. The person I was with had glass and stuff all in his skin or whatever, and come and find out the bullet grazed me. It hit me, but it grazed me, just kind of tore some skin off, bled a little, which
Okay.
which patched up or whatever. By this time, I'm still concerned about my son. I still don't know where my son is. Finally, I think about an hour or two went by. It was a neighbor on the block heard someone up under her porch, and she thought it was an animal, a dog or something. Come to find out, it was my son. The police did advise me that they did find him. Um, I told the police, I wanted my son to come home because he still needed to go to the emergency room. They brought him to the hospital to where I was, so, to get seen, get his chin, stitched, everything,
Okay.
and got information from me about his father, and of course, his father had fled to Chicago.
Okay. All right. So, what actually happened to him after all of this?
Well, he ended up coming to Chicago, and he was hiding out at certain people's houses, and I gave him the U.S. Marshal all of the you know, areas where he's known to be at, family
Okay.
members who live in Chicago.
Mhm.
He was found by U.S. Marshal and extradited back to Mississippi, where he was given a bond.
A bun after shooting
He was
after
given
shooting at you and
he
his son. How old was your son at the time of
oh
it?
God, I think maybe 10 or 11 at the time.
Okay, so he really remembered this.
Yeah, he does. He really does.
Okay.
He was young. They gave him he stayed in jail for a while, but then when it was time up for us to go to court, he was given a bond. And
What's a while? A month?
maybe a couple of months.
Okay.
Maybe a couple of months.
All
I'll
right.
say a couple of months. And he was bonded out, of course, by his parents. And he ended up going back to the same house where his mom was and staying there. uh, all while this was happening, of course, it was kind of upsetting for me because now he's, back out on the streets or whatever. So he didn't bother me at all. I think he kind of seen that he got himself in a jam, and it was, I was really serious about pressing charges on him and going on with the case. So I really didn't have any problems with him. And while he was doing that, I'm a bit too busy trying to get my own self back together. I ended up registering for the police academy. I became a police officer, doing all the time during the case. When it was time for us to go to court, I had already graduated the police academy, went back to another police academy for narcotics, graduated that. And by this time, I'm a narcotics officer. So me going to court in the uniform was, kind of shocking to him to see that I was now a police officer. Um, During that time, he was still out on bond. Um, they gave him a certain amount of time to turn himself in. Um, he had a certain date to turn himself in. Me working in a in a small town as a police officer, and I was with my sergeant, and we had an arrest this day, and we proceeded to take the suspect to the detention center, because he was charged for, a lot of petty crimes, theft and burglary and all that stuff. As we go inside the prison, we walking the suspect around to get the paperwork on him, and I see this man sitting there with his hands behind his back, locked eyes with me, and of course, it's my kid's father. And I'm like, whoa, this is kind of crazy. He had turned himself in. Um, and he was looking at me. He's like, hey, hey, Yvette, I need you to call my mom. And I'm looking at him like, be quiet. I don't know you. So
Right.
everybody around is looking at like, okay, like, does she know him? Why, how he know her name? My sergeant looked at me kind of crazy, like, do you know him? Like, just forget it. Let's just get this done and go. And he's like, I need you to call my mom and let mama know where I'm at and what's going on or whatever. And I'm like, no, don't talk to me. So everybody kind of peeped what was going on because he's not calling me Officer Jones. He's calling me by my first name, meaning he know me. So all of the other people that was locked up in the holding cell, they like, hey man, he's like, yeah, that's my baby mom. And I'm like, shut up. Don't say that. By that time, everybody had heard everything, and my sergeant kind of pulled me to the side, like, you know that guy? And I was like, yeah, you remember I told you the incident I had, a domestic relationship I was in where, I was, shot or whatever. And I was, beaten a lot. He was like, yeah. I said, well, that's him. He's like, are you serious? I'm like, yeah, apparently, today was the day to turn himself in. And ironically, we had an arrest and we bumped heads. So he was told not to talk to me, and he still was telling me to call his mother and all that kind of stuff. So they kind of removed him from my sight and said I got out of there, and they put him in a holding cell until I was done with my prisoner. Once I was done with my prisoner, then they allowed him to come back out and get his phone call. So that was kind of.
Did you call his mother?
I did not.
Okay,
I did not.
Okay, I was hoping. Earl,
going to call his
I know,
mother.
Earl, you was thinking the same thing. Did you call his mother for him?
Absolutely not.
Okay, so you was with this person for how many years?
19.
Were you married to him?
No.
Okay.
No. We're not.
Right.
We were not married. We have 3 kids. We were high school sweethearts. He was a freshman. I was a sophomore when we met.
Okay. So now, after this, you moved back to Chicago.
I ended up moving. I was after this incident and get my life settled from that incident. I was single. Wasn't really dating a lot, and my mom started getting sick, and I was working 2 jobs already, trying to help. Take care of her. So I was doing a lot of traveling from Mississippi to Chicago. Seeing about my mom. It got to the point where her health was going down because she had Alzheimer's and she just wasn't, doing any better. So I decided to go up there, make a trip, take some time off work, go up there, find a job, find a place to live. So, I can take care of my mom. During that time, I'm going back and forth. I meet someone else and me and this certain person end up getting close. It was a long distance relationship. He would come visit me, I would come visit him. So it was like Mississippi, Chicago, Chicago, Mississippi. It was back and forth for a while.
Did you know him already?
I did.
Okay.
And I how you know someone but you don't know of them.
Yes.
But you know this person. And finally we just hooked up at a party that I was with my brothers and stuff. We was out and I seen him at a party. And he was a guy that, kind of made music and beats and stuff like that. So he was kind of like well known with a lot of people. And we decided to exchange numbers and we talked a lot on the phone. A lot of visiting, going back and forth. And he was there visiting me one time when I got the call from my sister saying that mom was doing really bad. And also my dad had a stroke. So it was like a double whammy, you know. So I'm like, okay, I got to go home. I cannot stay in Mississippi working 2 jobs. My family is not, my kids is, I'm never home. They're always with their grandmother. And it's just
so that was with the one that went to jail. They were with his mother.
Yes, because I have no family in Mississippi. I was with his family.
Okay.
So I'm, after that happened, I'm alone. So all I do is work because I had no family. So the kids were spending the majority of the time with their, with their grandmother and with their aunt and stuff like that.
All right.
So and I'm like, okay, I gotta go home. I can't stay in Mississippi anymore because reality, there's no reason to stay. So he was in Mississippi with me visiting, and we both ended up going back together. He had a place on the south side, and that's where we ended up moving to once I left the police department. Well, I didn't really leave right then. I resigned from one job, but I was still working another police department because I had 2 jobs, one full-time, one part-time, but they both was at the police department. So I was still active at one. So I ended up moving back to Chicago on the south side with him. And, everything was good or whatever, and I was trying to find a job and out every day. I'm all at the library. I'm online. I'm going into places. I'm trying to get a job. It got to the point where I didn't care if I worked at McDonald's. I needed a job, because I was kind of living off the money that I had saved, to make sure me and my kids had a roof over our head. And, okay, everything's going well. And we end up getting married. Right after we got married, it's like, okay, I started to know the things about him. Like, I always want to know who's on my phone. Always want to know where I'm going. If I'm leaving the house, he's calling me like numerous times, like back to back, back to back. It gets to the time where I wake up. Sometimes my phone is nowhere to be found. He has my phone, so it's like I have no contact with anybody. He has these rages where he blow up. He wanted to destroy things in the house, break things, yell, punch holes in
Did
walls.
you see any correlation to that, to your baby's daddy compared to?
Absolutely.
And you didn't see
Absolutely.
any of this before you got married to him?
No. No.
Did he know about what happened to you previously?
He did.
So he did
He
know.
did. He did. He knew
Okay.
everything that happened to me from the previous relationship. So I'm seeing these red flags and I'm like, okay, I don't think this is gonna work. And we weren't married what, maybe 5 months at the time. So finally I had to move in with my dad because funds got low and I couldn't afford to live where we were living on the south side with him because he didn't have a job.
Mm.
You know, I was holding the, again, I found myself holding the family up again, busting my butt trying to get out here, make things happen again. So it's like I was going back to the same thing that I was in the first time.
Did you go to therapy at all for after the first one?
I went for a little while because the department made me go. And when you're in situations like that in this trauma, the police department, they make you go, because you can't be out there with a gun and you have all these things going on at home. They want to make sure you're out there and you're safe. Not only you're safe, the people that you're dealing with, your coworkers and everybody else is safe. So yes, I did have to see a counselor in order to continue as a police officer. So and again, we move in with my dad. We have the
Your
basement.
husband moves into?
He moves in also. We have the basement apartment. And again, I'm study filling out job applications. I'm like, okay, I have all this education, all this all this experience, and I can't find a job. I'm like, what is wrong with this? Something is wrong with this. I have a criminal justice and master's. Master's in criminal justice, and I can't get a job. I'm freaking law enforcement, and I can't get a job. So I'm finding myself, okay, every day, like, where's my phone? Where's my phone? I can never find my phone. So I was with my cousin one day. She was handling some business, taking care of some business for my dad, taking care of some business with her. And she had her phone. And I was like, okay, let me use your phone. Let me call a couple of jobs that they told me they was going to call me back for sure because of my experience. So I called the place where I am now, where I'm working, and I asked them, I said, hey, you guys said you was going to call me back. I never got a call back. And he was like, oh my God, Miss Jones, we've been trying to call you. I'm like, really? Yeah, we called you. And your husband said you didn't need a job, that you had already found one. I'm like, excuse me? I've been waiting on you guys to call me. I said, that's not true. I don't have a job. And she was like, well, we were just trying to replace you. We're going through applications now. She said, can you be in here in the morning? I said, absolutely. So right now I'm heated. Okay. And my cousin's like, okay, I see something wrong with this guy, because she told me when she first met him, it's something about him. She don't like him. He's a liar. He did lie a lot. He lied a whole lot. Um,
Who went with you to the wedding though first? Did any of
we
your
didn't
family
even have
support
it.
it?
No one went. We just went to the Justice of Peace downtown and got married. It was no wedding.
Do you feel like you need a man? Like I just want to be with a man.
I don't think.
Like you feel like you need a man? Like I just want to be with a man.
I don't think that was it because after the 19-year relationship, I was by myself almost 2 years.
Okay.
I was just more focused on the family then because, and work, because like I said, I worked around a lot of men, you know what I'm saying? So me needing a man was never, something that came across my mind. It was just, after a while you do get lonely and, I was dating, trying to date, but it was like, I don't know how, because you got to remember when I got in a relationship, we were what, 15, 16, 14, 15. So now that I'm single, I don't even know how to date. I don't even know how to approach a man, so it was kind of hard for me to be like, oh, he's cute and approach this, this person. So no, I was kind of afraid of it. So, but being with my husband, it's like, okay, I knew him already. So that I think that's why it was so easy for me, for that relationship to happen because of the simple fact I knew him already.
How long before you saw the red flags? Do you think you jumped into it too soon?
I think I did.
How long before you said yes, that you guys was actually dating, going back and forth?
Maybe almost a year. I'll say maybe I get 10 months or so. 9,
Okay.
10 months. Yeah.
All right.
And my daughter told me, she's like, Mommy, I think you're moving too fast. I said, you think so? I said, but he's cool. She was like, yeah, he seemed cool, but you still have to heal. And I'm like, That's a good point,
How old was she
but
when she said this to
oh
you?
God, maybe 16.
And so your daughter saw her dad beat you because I know on our
Absolutely.
first episode you stated your daughter used to be the one to clean up the blood.
Yeah, that was she was my little doctor.
Okay.
She was my doctor. She's seen everything from day one up until he was no more in the house. She's seen everything. So I think she noticed the red flags basically before I did, to be honest. Because I think I had got so comfortable, and how you have an argument with your spouse and it's just like, okay, whatever, and it slam a door or something. That's just how it was. So I really didn't think nothing of it until after we got married. After we got married, that's when those red flags really started coming up because he was working. He had got fired from his job long ago and never told me. So he was still leaving out of the house telling me he was going to work. I don't know where he was going. So when I actually start working, it's like, you're not working. I'm like, what are you talking about? You working every day, 16 hours? Yeah, I'm trying to get out of my dad's house. I'm a workaholic. I'm used to working 16 hours. I worked two jobs, 10 years. So working 16 hours was nothing to me. So, and I'm trying to explain to him, what you think we're going to live here down here forever? No, I need my own place. I need my own space. And it's too small down here. I got 3 kids. I have 2 grandkids. So no, I'm going to work and get what I want. I'm not going to wait on anybody to do anything for me. And he, he always told me, well, you act like you control the relationship and you don't have to do that. It's my job to get out here and make the money. I said, okay, it's not nobody's job to get out here and do anything. We supposed to do this together. And he couldn't understand that. So
Saying this while he lying every day, going back and forth.
exactly.
So where was he going?
I have no idea. I come to find out there was another woman involved.
Okay.
Yes. So I'm going to get to the part, the incident with us. I finally got the job where I'm working now. I had got the job. And I was, like I could say, I was working 16 hours, like 4 or 5 days a week because I was just trying, I'm trying to make money. I'm trying to move. I got to get out of my dad's house. That's what I'm focused on. So he would come up to the job just to see if I'm working. He would call my job numerous times just to ask this to me. And my boss was like, "Who is this person keep calling you? You got call ID." I'm looking at the call ID like, "Why is he calling me? I'm at work. You can't call nobody like that at work." And I get on the phone like, "What do you want?" "Oh, you ain't been at work." I said, "Excuse me? You haven't been at work?" I've been up there. The car been moved." Things like that. And I'm like, "Are you serious?" So it got to the point like, okay, this not working for me. I don't think this is going. I'm not even going to allow myself to get in another situation like I was before because now I have knowledge of being of an abusive relationship, and these big red flags is about to slap me in the face. And so I had made up in my mind at work that day that when I got off that night, I was going to ask him to leave because it was getting out of hand. I got home that night. I was so tired. I had worked over 16 hours, I think. And I got home. I walked down the stairs. The babies, my grandkids was up. It's like they always wait for me to get home from work, give them kisses, hugs, chips, fruit and stuff I bring home. I said, Grandma, I got to go to bed. So I'm going to take me a shower and go to sleep. So I go in the room to get my stuff ready to take a shower. He's going through my purse, snatching my phone. I'm like, what are you doing? You haven't been to work. I don't have time for this tonight. I'm gonna take me a shower and go to bed because I have to unfortunately be back at work at 6 a.m. and it's already after 11. We're not gonna do this tonight. No, you're gonna talk to me. I'm not gonna do anything. I'm about to shower and go to bed. So he's still going through my phone. He's calling people back in my phone, and he's calling friends, male friends. He's calling my brothers. He's calling my nephews. He's calling my family, thinking these are man that I'm seeing. So I'm like, you know what? I snatched my phone. I went up the stairs. I went in my cousin room. I told her husband, I said, I'm gonna turn my phone off and put it in the room. He said, go ahead, just put it in the drawer. So I put it in the drawer and I closed his bedroom door. I went, took a shower. I got out of the shower. Do you know this man had my phone? Do you know he disrespected my cousin and went in her bedroom and searched and got my cell phone?
With the husband. And
He's a senior citizen. It was really nothing, he can do because he's on a cane and he had some strokes and stuff. So he was yelling at him to get out, but he didn't listen to him. So I'm like, did you really, really just go? You disrespect her and go in her room? She's not there. Her husband is in there. That's a no-no. You don't go in her room. And I'm like, give me my phone. I said, you know what? You need to go. I said, this is not working. I'm not going through another relationship where I have to validate and show you everything I'm doing and where I'm going and who I'm talking to. I'm going to ask you to get your stuff and leave. So he was like, I'm not going anywhere. So I had cousins that lived in the building also. I went upstairs and I told my cousins, I said, look, I'm going to need you guys to get him out of here because I don't want him here anymore. So they came downstairs like, look, dude, you got to go. My cousin said she don't want you here. You need to leave. He's like, okay, let me get my stuff. So they went upstairs. I go back in the bedroom and I closed the door. I walked towards the bed. He threw a blanket over my head. He slammed me down on the bed and he just started choking me, started strangling me. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't even yell or holler because he was choking me so hard. I just started kicking the dresser because it had like a champagne bottle or a wine bottle or something up there, and there was a cup there. So I was kicking as hard as I can so someone can hear. I can hear my son saying, "Mom, you okay? What's going on? What broke?" I'm just kicking so loud so someone can hear. And I was right when I was about to blank out. I just heard the door just get knocked off the hinges. My daughter knocked the whole door off the hinges. She grabbed the bottle and she just busted him in the head with it to make him get off me. My son, he's what my young son is like 12 at this time. He grabs a broomstick and they're just beating him off of me. He runs out of the bedroom door, through the laundry room, through the backyard, down the alley. I'm, trying to catch my breath, and my dad is screaming down the stairs like, "What's going on? What's going on? What's going on?" I walked to the stairs. I'm like, "Dad, I'm okay." He said, "Are y'all fighting?" I said, "Yes, we need to call the police." So I go back door through the yard to the alley to see is he really gone, and I can see him, down the alley running. So I'm assuming he's gone. So I go back in the house and I go upstairs, to let my dad know that I'm okay. And he was like, "Are you okay, baby? You okay?" I said, I'm fine. We need to call the police and let the police know what just happened. My grandson, my oldest grandson, he come up the stairs. Grandma, come downstairs. The baby is about to fall. I said, "Okay, Dad, let me go get the baby. I'll be right back." I go down the stairs. I jump off the stairs and I walk towards the baby, maybe 3 steps. And I just felt that impact to my head. And I remember the impact smacked me around. And I remember grabbing my head like this. And it just felt like my head was swelling. It felt really weird. I didn't feel any pain. I just felt like my head was like swelling. Everything went black. I can hear voices. I can hear my daughter screaming. I can hear my son screaming. My daughter, I can hear her calling the police. "Y'all get here. My mom is a police officer. She's just been attacked and her head is bust open. And I know I'm laying on the floor. Everything is black. I can hear my ears is ringing. I'm blinking my eyes because my eyes is open, but I can't see. I'm trying to move my head. I try to get up. I can't move. I hear my cousin saying, "Give me a pillow. I got to stop the bleeding." Oh my God, her head is split open. I can see her skull. I'm hearing all this stuff and I can't say a word.
so where was he?
He had snuck back in and there was a bat in the yard. As he came back in, he grabbed the bat out of the backyard. He came back through the laundry room and it's kind of dark in the laundry room and my bedroom was right there. So when I came down the stairs, he was waiting on me. And when I walked towards the bed to get the baby, he just swung and hit me in the head, which was here across my forehead. And I just spent around, everything went black. I can hear the police coming. I can hear the sirens. I can hear all the noise upstairs that people are running upstairs. I hear people running down the stairs. I can hear the ambulance driver telling my daughter and my son to step back, telling my cousin step back that they got it. They asking me, "Ma'am, can you hear me? Can you hear me?" But it's like I'm saying yes, but nothing's coming out. "Can you see me?" I'm trying to say yes, nothing's coming out. So I heard them say, shine a light so I can see. And they said we had a possible head fracture. No, her skull is exposed. We need to get her to the hospital. So they're moving me, putting me on a stretch and everything. And again, I still can't see a thing. I can't even answer them. My dad is screaming, my kids are screaming, my grandkids are screaming, my cousins are going berserk. The whole house was just in a disarray. And the police, I guess, rode the area looking for him and everything. They went in my room. They saw I had like my police jacket up, my gun belt. I did have a weapon, but it wasn't in the sight where they can see it because I got kids. And police officer got in the back of the ambulance with me. And by that time, my sight is kind of trying to come back, but the ambulance driver was like, I don't want you to talk. Just squeeze my finger. If you can squeeze your hand, squeeze my finger when we ask you questions. Once for yes, two for no. So the police officer was like, ma'am, are you a police officer? I squeezed his finger. Yes. He said, are you a police officer in the state of Mississippi? Squeeze my finger. Yes. And when I say it was police everywhere, it was, I mean, they treated me with so much respect because of where that I mean, I'm just a sister in blue to them. I'm certified, I'm here, and I'm a sister in blue. So I can hear them taking off, driving off to the hospital. I can hear the police sirens. Apparently, they must have escorted the ambulance to the hospital. I get to the hospital, and they everybody moving so fast. They sticking needles here, they sticking this there. Again, I still can't talk. And before you know it, my eyes were closed, and I just woke up the next day, and I was restrained. And I'm like, why am I restrained to the bed? Apparently, I had a seizure, and I have a history of seizures. Apparently, I was fighting them once I came out of the seizure. I was, I guess, combating a little. I was trying to take the bandages and stuff off my head, so they had to restrain me to the bed to keep me from taking everything, off. I didn't even realize how serious it was until the police detective came in there and asked me, did I know what happened? I was like, well, no, not really what happened. And they got to telling me, what happened and how I was injured and what he did. And I was like, are you freaking kidding me? He actually got back in the house and did that to me because I just felt the impact. I didn't know what it was. It could have been me falling because I thought I was having a heart attack or something. You know what I'm saying? I just, because I didn't feel any pain. So that's what made it so hard for me to believe that I was actually hit with a bat. The bat was broken 4 pieces.
Did he hit you more than once, or you don't remember? You don't
Once.
once.
He was finna hit me again, and my son came in and grabbed his arm.
Okay.
If he had hit me again, I wouldn't be sitting here right now.
Okay.
Yes. So the detectives talked to me. They had the police guard in my room. It was kind of hard for family to even visit because he was still out on the streets. So they kind of like put a bolo out to find him. And me being upset, when I say I was livid because of this, it's like I allowed it to happen again. So I felt like kind of responsible. Like, how in the world did I allow this to happen again? And it was I forgot her name. I think a Miss Wilford or something like that. She was like a counselor in the hospital, and she was explaining to me, it's not that you allowed it to happen again. You noticed the signs. You was removing yourself from the relationship. It's just that he snuck up behind you and did that to you. So you can't blame yourself because of what happened, because you was removing yourself from that situation. So it took a while for me to kind of understand, like, okay, I hear what you're saying, but still, I allow myself to get hurt again. And this is the second man that, try to actually take my life. These are not just, little bitty things.
Right.
Being shot and beat in the head with a bat and strangled, that's really serious. I mean, that means they really trying to kill you.
Okay.
You
I,
know,
I do remember stating that your face was so messed up. Your daughter had to come with a picture.
my daughter showed the plastic surgeon a picture, and it was a really good, clear picture of what I looked like because it was busted from here to here. The skin was pushed back from the head, because the skull was exposed, and this was kind of like flapped over. So they didn't want to be pulling the skin too tight, or they didn't want to pull it. They don't want to have it too loose, because if they did it like that, he explained to me the face of the either be drooped on one side, or if he pull it tight, it'd be too tight, and then he lifted up too high. So he wanted to make sure that everything was lined up the way it was by off the picture that she gave. And then when I say he did an amazing job, you can barely see that I even had incisions and staples in my head.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Should I say continue? Because I'm sitting there, everybody like even Earl sitting up like what? All right.
Yeah. So it me they didn't want me to see the pictures. And I was talking to the officers. I'm like, look, I see this on a regular basis. I'm an officer just like you are. You can't stop me. I need to see these pictures. Okay. He was like, okay, I'm gonna let you see. And when he showed me what I looked like, it looked like a mannequin. It didn't look like me at all. Just to see my head open like that, it was so sad. And then when he started seeing my eyes tear up, he just snatched the folder back and like, that's enough. Enough is enough. So they caught him. I gave him all the locations and everything, his family, where they can find him. So apparently he ended up all the way on the east side, southeast of out south. He Once they had him cornered, he went into the restroom and he decided to drink some bleach or pine sol or something, trying to kill herself.
Okay.
Well, act like, excuse me, he was trying to kill himself. So they ended up taking him to Jackson Park, where he remained there, I think, for like 2 weeks. So, of course, once he's discharged, he's going to be discharged to his custody. He thought, okay, if I play crazy and admit myself in the hospital, I can get away with this. So, the nurses, they called the detectives and stuff and told him he's been released this day. If you guys want to come up here and get him. So I wanted to be there. They wouldn't let me go. Of course, they stayed by my house to make sure I was in the house. So when they got there, they said they asked him, well, hello there, so and so. Do you know why we're here? He was like, yeah. They was like, well, why do you think we're here? And this went through my body when the detectives told me he said this. Well, yeah, I killed my wife.
Oh, so he thought he had killed you.
And when he said it with a smile as if, okay, she's dead. Now what? And when the detectives told him she's not dead, they said it was a disappointment. He had a look like he was disappointed.
Mm.
Yes, he was disappointed. So of course he was taken into custody. He had so many charges: child endangerment, attempted murder on a police officer.
You got to speak up just a little bit though, right?
Um,
You said attempt murder.
Attempt murder on a police officer. He
Mhm.
had child endangerment because he did it in front of my grandkids. He had tore up my car. He vandalized the car, bust windows. It was so many charges. He worked drugs. Took all the money out of my bank account. I had no more money in my
So he
account.
really did think you was dead.
He drained my savings, my checking. He took all my credit cards. He wiped them clean. There was nothing. When I got out of the hospital, I had no money. It was an overdraft, everything.
And you was working 16 hours every day.
Every day trying to get my money up so I can move it, because I had to start over. Moving from another state, I sold everything I had. So when I do get an apartment, okay, I got to put something in it. So I was just saving and saving and saving, and he took it all. He took everything because he thought he killed me.
How long with the time frame of you being in the hospital compared to when he actually was arrested? How long was that time period?
I was in there 3 days. He was out. They called him out maybe a week and a half later. They end up going to Jackson Park to get him.
Oh, so they did the reconstructive surgery, emergency surgery.
Mhm. It was an emergency. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep. So of course, I so now dealing with the issues because of me being hit with the bat. Of course, it brought my epilepsy back because I was born with epilepsy. I had seizures as a kid, But as I got older, the seizures went away and I wasn't on medication anymore. But now, because of me being hit with the bat, I have my seizures. I'm back on medication for seizures. I'm paralyzed in my face and head.
What do you mean?
Paralyzed, like from here to the middle of my head. I don't feel anything here. It's dead.
Okay.
There's a lot of nerve damage on this side of the face. I'm deaf in my right ear. My hair won't grow in certain areas in my head because by the nerves being dead, the hair follicles are dead. So it's like certain areas of my hair, it won't grow. Sometimes my ears, it still ring. I end up having to get eye surgery because I lost where I was hit at. I lost like 35% of my sight. So when I had surgery, they gave me majority of it back. So it's just like 10% I don't have. So like if I cover up my right eye, I can see you, but it's like really blurry. But before the surgery, it was really bad. So I ended up having a sinus surgery because of the nerve damage in the face and head. It caused so many issues with my sinuses. So I ended up having sinus surgery. So it's just I'm on so many different medications just to stay afloat to function.
Okay. So where is he now?
He's in prison,
For how long?
30 years to life.
Because he assaulted a police officer.
Absolutely.
Okay. Does he reach out? Does he has
He
he tried to?
tried. He tried. When it first happened, he tried to reach out, and I ended up calling state's attorneys and everything to tell them I don't want them contacting me or whatever. So I ended up had to go to 555 West Harrison, and they gave me an order of protection where he couldn't contact me, my kids. He couldn't write me, email me, text me. He couldn't do anything. And if he do so, it was an extra 5 years. So he tried one time, and I contacted law enforcement and told him he tried to contact me. He was given that extra 5 years, and I haven't heard from him since.
Okay. Now, do you go to therapy now?
I did start after that happened. I was going to therapy. I was going to Rush, and she was really really good. And I was talking to her 2 years
Okay.
before I felt comfortable enough to not go anymore.
Uh,
But sometimes I still have bad dreams, because it still bothers me sometimes. And when I feel that I want to talk to her, I'll always go back and talk. So she's always there when I need her. Yeah.
did your kids or your grandkids get help for what they saw?
Yes. My son, my youngest, I definitely had to get him some help because he was sleeping with a knife under his pillow
Okay.
because he wanted to protect me. Um, Even though he's 20 right now, he still have this protective
Mode.
right.
Okay.
And me dating, you know what I'm saying, or meeting someone, he was just, I don't want to meet him.
Okay. So right now, I know you told me some news that the last time you was here and your boyfriend came. What was the news you had to tell me?
He proposed the same day we came and did the first show, which was my sister's African theme party.
Right. Did you accept?
I did. I did.
Why?
Because this guy here, he's God fearing, and I've of course been knowing him since we were in sixth grade. We were like 12 years old.
Okay.
We grew up together. I know his family. His family knows my family. He grew up in church, very well mannered. He was real quiet and shy. Um,
Because somebody actually texted me the last time
mhm,
you were here. I said, "Well, are you dating someone now?" You said yes.
mhm.
I said, "What do you like about him?" You stated, "Well, he's protective."
Very.
Protective can go either way.
It can be
And they
good
felt
and
like that was
bad.
a red flag. Like, what does she mean by protective?
When I say protective, meaning he is all about my feelings. when I say protect. I know where they're going with that, because protecting can be like, he's overprotector, or he don't want me around nobody, or he guards me, or this and that. That's not what I mean when I say protector. When I
Okay.
say protector, meaning it's all about me, and he care about my feelings.
Okay.
And when I come home from work, and this is something I've never had. How's your day? Give me a kiss. How was your day? What happened today? How
Right.
you feeling?
Okay.
I've never had that before, And the thing, he cooks for me, when he see that I'm tired, he'll tell me, "Oh, don't worry about it. I'll cook today, or I'll take care of everything today."
Right.
Um, we talk.
Now, I know you when he raises his voice, or if he raises his voice. I remember you even stating to me that you've gotten kicked out with a moving car on the expressway, been thrown
Hmm.
out of a moving car.
I did.
So it's like, um, I don't really know what to say with the flags. He can't get loud. He can't even blink too hard without you actually feeling a certain type of way. But we may have to have a part 3, because one thing I want to do is just let them know that the domestic violence hotline is 1-877-863-6338, and it was some little things that you can do. They say please call them. This is the domestic violence advocate. If you're trying to leave, change your passwords.
Absolutely.
Don't go the same way home. Find somebody you can have some cash with.
Hmm.
Minimize using your debit cards and your credit cards. Do not leave a paper trail. Do not create a social media post, because they can fake, go in your slide in your DM and call you.
Hmm.
So just little tricks of the trade, that if you're out here in this type of situation, you do have people to call. This is an extreme case, but as I got deeper into this happens more than not. Somebody getting shot, thrown about a police car.
Hmm.
So right now, we hope this helps somebody, and we will see you next week. This time on the Women of Wealth show. Thank you, Yvette, for coming out. Thank you for sharing your
No
story.
problem. No
Please,
problem.
Lord, give her peace. And I hope that this marriage here is happy and safe for you. Thank you. I
Thank you
see you
so
soon.
much. Thank
Thank
you.
you. Bye bye, everybody. And thank you for joining the Women of Wealth show. Bye.